In this session, let us try to learn about sorting from left to right. For that, we need to arrange the data in specific order so that we can sort left to right in a environment wherein my data is not properly sorted as far as my columns are concerned. In the manual system, if I see my data to be sorted by the columns, for example, what does that mean? For example, my data is here, Control Shift down arrow, and I try to move the data from here using the Shift key, drag left. I can see vertical gray line as a divider over here and then drop it over here. Release the click first, then the Shift key, the data moves there. And suppose that is a problem in my data, that when I receive the data, it is sometimes ordered quite wrongly and I need to order that properly for that matter. The option of shifting the data using shift then dragging across, for example, is one method, but doing that with the shortcut key, for example, is another method. For example, if I select my data like this, Control Shift down arrow, Control X to cut the data, go to the column before which you want that to be pasted, for example, then select the data and Control Shift plus here to paste the data there. You can see that the name column is shifted from left to right over here. That's the way we can usually do that. Cut paste option to shift my data. Now suppose my data is wrongly ordered in this case, but in certain manner. So I can really order that particular column in which I want it formally to be placed. So I say this comes as number 1, this comes as number 2, center aligning is not important, but just to make it more readable, we apply like this. Now this is the order in which I want my data to be organized properly. And there are some 20-30 columns across like that, out of which some 6 or 7 columns are to be shifted. Now drag and drop for the entire data for 5000 rows will take a lot of time. So what we can do in this case is order the data in the column heads like that. Then apply data sort option here, for example, and that will always take my top row as my header row for that matter, because my header are selected here. So if I go to the drop down here, I can see that numbers indicate my headers over here. I don't want that. What I want is I want to sort my data left to right. So I go to the options over here, apply sort left to right, okay, and then you see what happens. I get the row number entry over here and my data is not sorted by the headers on the top. So I go to the drop down here and see row numbers over here. So I choose row number 35. If you notice this over here, 35 becomes my header and so on. So my data can be seen as oriented from left to right side. These being the headers, for example, these being the column, for example. So if I sort the data on row 35 as a header, for example, then this becoming the column and these becoming the rows. We'll sort the data 1 first, 2nd after that, then 3rd after that, 4th here, 5th here and 6th here thereafter. That's how it will work. So it's all ready. We simply have to go to click OK now, and the data should be sorted properly in this case like this. And we can see that it's done very well. Now to reset it back, we should always go back and try to reset again, because if I open the sort window again, for example, I can see that the row option is sorted over here. If I go to the data above, for example, in this case, data sort, for example, I can see row again. So that will be a problem. So I need to reset the data back to the same set again. In that case, I must first delete my headers from here so that they do not become the headers again. I can then go to the data here, data sort for that matter, options. It still is row in this case, so we change that to sort top to bottom from options over there. Okay, header is not selected right now, so what does it show? Column A, B, C, D like that. So I can mark my headers in this case, and the moment I do that, I can see proper headers available over here. I can then pick up one header as a sample to sort the data on that so that it's properly reset and applied also for the sorting. Okay, in that case, and that works absolutely fine. I can again try to test data sort option is perfectly fine now. Column wise sort over here, and here also data sort, column wise sort is correctly available with checkbox on my data has address correctly over there. So that is the way I can sort my data from left to right just to organize my data properly, and that can really help me a lot when I'm getting my data imported from some other source, for example, and I need to shift my data properly in that case. That's how sort left to right can really help me. That's all for the session. See you in the next session. Thank you.